In this video, I'm going to talk about germinating plants from seeds. In this example, we're going to be doing trees. I collected seeds for a while from everywhere I could find them, fruits, vegetables, and I got a small collection. The first thing I did was dry everything out. A lot of seeds in nature expect to be part of foods that are eaten. They expect to be kind of sent through the ringer. So drying them out, in my experience, is kind of part of the process. After they're dry, I separated everything into little jars, and I soaked them in a little water for a couple of days. Growing things from seed can be a very long process. You have to have a lot of patience. And it's also important that you think about the conditions where you're going to be growing things. Now, I set myself up a little spot in the garage, and I found a very cheap grow light on Amazon, so I can control my conditions. You may want to be careful about birds, bugs, whatever your conditions allow, especially if you're trying to grow stuff outside. Baby trees are very vulnerable, and apparently very tasty. After just a few days, you may start to notice some of the seeds have gotten a little bit fat, and you can drain the water out. It can be really gross, so you may want to toughen up if you find this to be a bit much. After the water's drained out, I just throw the lid back on. You want to leave it a little bit damp in there, and you want to maybe change the air out every day or so, but you can actually leave the seeds sitting in this very humid environment for quite a while. Had we cleaned the seeds better, we probably could have left them in there for a little bit longer. But in this case, I wanted to get everything planted so nothing would mold. Sometimes, though, after just a few days, you'll already see the seeds sprout. You'll see a root starting to form, and that means it's very much time to plant. The type of soil that you use is not as important as the availability of moisture. The roots have to be able to grab moisture and air. So you don't want to pack things down too much, but you definitely want to make sure that there's a lot of water in your soil. I like to saturate my potting soil before I even put a seed in it. That way when I pop the seed on top, I could just put a small layer of soil and keep that moist. Getting back to the seeds, since I used kind of a shotgun approach and I had so many, I didn't plan to actually plant them all. So I wanted to choose the best candidates. I decided to try to flood these jars with a little bit of water and then try to separate the seeds in the water to see which ones were the best candidates, and those are the ones I was going to end up planting. My plan didn't go all that well. While this approach was far messier than it needed to be, it was effective, and it did separate the seeds in the water. In the case of these apple seeds, it was really easy to tell which ones were kind of ready to go. Some of these seeds, which were originally all one color, had, kind of burst at the seams, and you could see that they were ready to germinate. Even still, I went with 5 in the container because you never know. If they're watched closely, it's easy enough to split them up as you see them germinate, or not. And to finalize things, you just cover everything with a fine layer of soil, season with some water, maybe give it a little spritz, and then boom, you get yourself some apple trees on the way. I should say again, this will work for most species of plants. Not all of them. There's some really weird seeds out there, some that you have to dig out of the pit or scar, and maybe I'll do some video tutorials about those. I have some plum seeds that I really want to get into with the Dremel, so leave me a comment if that's something that you want to see, because I don't really know what I'm doing just yet. Love to film it, that'd be kind of fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my basic tutorial on seed germination. I hope you think of me when you create new life. Thanks for watching.